Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing an acrylic pour, and I'm using a little bit of Floetrol here, which you can get at Lowe's. It's a paint thinning additive, and I'll be using a hair shine spray to make kind of some paint cells. I don't use a ton in each cup, but I put some in each cup here, and I'm also going to be using 4 different kinds of paints. The main paint being a white, and it's apple barrel, I think here, yeah, apple barrel, that you can just get from Walmart. I have Dioxazine purple, brilliant blue, and teal, and I'm going to be using those today. So here you can see I'm adding just a little bit of paint to each cup. You want most of your volume in there to be your Floetrol, and you don't really need a ton of paint, just enough to make an impact. And the Floetrol dries clear, so it should be fine. But anyway, here you can see me vigorously stirring this up. I already have the silicone in there, and so what this is going to do is whatever cells that come up out of this painting are going to be a little bit smaller. So if you want larger cells, try not to mix it up as much as I am, because what it's doing is it's breaking down those silicone molecules into smaller little blobs as opposed to like larger blobs. Some people can put silicone directly on their painting and go from there. These are techniques that I'll try in the future, and I'll video those as well. Okay, so now that I have my cups all filled, I don't really want to waste anything here. Try to kind of make this as less messy as possible. But anyway, the first thing I'm going to do is pour the white all over. And one thing that I noticed after having done this is that I did not mix up enough white. It didn't really completely cover my canvas, and I was kind of struggling with it. You can see here, there's also like little bits of, I don't want to say dried acrylic, but that's kind of what it is. It's like little dried pieces in there that I had to kind of pluck out. And that happens with acrylic. If it sits there for a little bit, it'll dry around the sides and stuff, and then it just kind of comes out. Sometimes it's just unavoidable. And here I continue to struggle and struggle to get it on there, and ultimately I just ended up using my fingers. I had a little bit left in there. I kind of wanted to use this later if I needed it, but that's all right. Sometimes with these sort of things you kind of have to go on the fly. But anyway, so with this swipe, my goal is to kind of get like this little burst going across diagonally, and I'm just putting little dots of each paint in random places on the canvas here, and then I'll do the swipe. Okay, so I'm not using anything special here. I'm just using my plastic knife that I use to mix my paints, and I'm just gently swiping over the top of the paint. I don't want to dig in too deep because I don't want to scrape the paint off. I just want to kind of move it in a swiping fashion. And I kind of wasn't really happy with the lower corner there. Eventually you'll see I'll add a little bit more paint, but here I'm using a straw to kind of blow out some of those areas too, so it didn't look so mechanically swiped and more organic. So this was a really messy process too. I ended up splattering paint all over my wall, but as long as you clean it up really quick, it should be fine. But just a little bit of movement here, not too much. And then there I go, adding a few more drops near the bottom so that I can get kind of a more cohesive color through the diagonal portion of this. That's kind of what I wanted. So I wanted the upper right and lower left just to be white, whereas like, the remaining just to have that swipe in the middle. So again, just I'm continuing to blow like little bursts in there and like random things in the middle to kind of give it just a little bit more of a flowery kind of burst effect. You can see how messy that ended up being. So just take heed if you just decide to try this. But anyway, now that I'm kind of happy with it, I go ahead and hit it with my heat gun instead of a flame. I just use my heat gun, and that helps the bubbles come to the surface, or the cells. And then I'll take this and put it in the oven for a few days to keep my cats out of it. But anyway, here is the final product, and I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out really nice and vibrant, and I don't know, I just really like it. But I have to wait, once this is dry, I have to wait a few weeks before I cover it with a varnish, And when I do that, I will list it for sale on my Etsy site. So this will be actually the painting that you receive, not a print. It'll be the actual painting. If you're interested in that, just check out my Etsy site. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked this video and you found it informative, just give me a thumbs up. If you're interested in subscribing, just click on my initials. And if you'd like to receive notifications when I post, just click on that bell. And I will see you next time for another artistic or soapy adventure. Bye!